I'm back, y'all. I made these. I was eating some homemade food. What's that shit?
My family goes on vacation every year to a different hotel and resort each summer. Usually we always leave together, my wife and my 2 young children. Most of the time we spend at the resort rather than going out and visiting other places. It makes it cheaper because we don't have to rent a car, and it's enjoyable to stay in a nice place and get away from everyday life. Of course, when we first arrive in the morning, we all unpack, and the kids immediately want to go to the water park. My wife and I sit in chairs around the pool, while the kids play with other children in the water park right next to the pool. We sit there enjoying the sun for about 2 hours before we both decide that we should go back to our room to get ready for dinner. I get up and start walking around the water park looking for the kids, and after a few minutes, I finally manage to find Sam, the older one, and ask where Alan is. I've changed their names for privacy reasons. Sam says that Alan is playing with another kid on the other side of the park. I tell Sam that we're leaving and instruct him to run back to Mom while I go look for Alan. I search around like a fool for as long as maybe 10 minutes, starting to feel anxious when I finally see him. He's in the back corner where some chairs are arranged, talking to a little kid who looks about his age. I approach and briefly introduce myself.
Mike is murdered for talking, bro.
They don't respond except to give a small smile. There's a few awkward seconds of silence, then I tell Alan that we're going to dinner and take him back to the hotel. I ask about his new friend, and he says that he was playing with him in the water park, but that's about all he says. Alan is a pretty talkative kid, so it's not something strange, but then he tells me something strange. He says that the kid introduced him to his parents, who then invited him to dinner tonight. I feel very weird.
I know I saw some downloads right there.
A little kid to dinner without talking to the kid's parents.
What? Where is
I
Alan?
tell my wife as soon as we get to the room, and she's also very worried.
Yo, you got a mic or what, bro?
Finally, we go to dinner somewhere quick and get back to the hotel around 5 o'clock. Both kids look pretty tired, so we're ready to relax for the rest of the evening. We get into the elevator and head to our floor, but when the elevator doors open, Alan's new friend and his mother are standing there as if they've been waiting for the elevator to come down. As soon as we exit, the mother looks at me with a brief smile and asks if Alan can join them for dinner tonight. I glance at my wife, who looks just as confused and worried as I do. Then I look back at the woman. We've already had dinner tonight, but maybe we can arrange something for tomorrow. Her smile fades as she turns and walks down the corridor opposite opposite ours. I assume to their room. I know both my wife and I are thinking the same thing. That they're creepily waiting for us near the elevator all this time just to ask about dinner. When we get into our room, we pull Alan aside and firmly tell him not to approach that family without one of us with him. He looks a little disappointed, but he agrees. I also pull Sam aside separately and make sure he knows about the situation, and that I want him to watch out for his brother if we're not around. We all take turns showering, then relax on the bed and couch for the rest of the night. I'm pretty upset with how the vacation is going already. Having to feel tense for my kids' safety. I reassure myself that tomorrow will be better. Finally, we all get ready for bed and turn off the lights. There are 2 beds in the room, one for my wife and me to sleep in, and the other for the 2 boys to share. A few hours into the night, I'm jolted awake. I'm startled because I thought I was quite tense, and I see Sam next to me still shaking. "You're okay, buddy?" Sam answers quietly, whispering to me that Alan is talking to someone at the door. I immediately jump out of bed and turn towards the corner leading to the front door. From the brief glimpse I can before yelling at him, I can see he's trying to figure out a way to open the door, and I can hear faint voices on the other side. I run towards him, yelling for him to stay away from the door. Alan jumps back, startled by the volume of my voice. I slam the door, hearing footsteps running in the hallway. As I finish opening the door, I know I should have just stayed inside and called for help, but I'm so angry. All I want is to confront the person, and as I'm in the hallway, I see a figure quickly. A man turning the corner to the hallway towards the elevator.
So I already got 5, so I just need 10, I think.
But as I turn, there's no sign of him. He wouldn't have time to get into the elevator, so I know he must be staying in a room on that floor. After searching for a few minutes, I run back to our room and meet my wife, who's already awake because of the chaos of the situation. I ask her to lock the door as I'm going down to the front desk to report the incident. As I descend to the lobby, my adrenaline starts to subside. I try to calm myself down to be able to explain what happened.
I don't think that'll be enough.
There's a young woman at the desk that I talk to, and I can sense that she's never faced a situation like this before. She calls a security guard to speak with me as well as their manager.
I'm getting lagging off for no reason.
Though it's quite clear they can't do much about it. They don't have security cameras in the hallway, only at the entrance and exit. I don't have any evidence or description of the man at the door or his relationship with the parents asking about dinner. Obviously, I assume it's the father of the other boy. But even
I'm gonna show you gold, some gold with the hogwarts for Enderpearl, so
can't really prove it.
okay, and I guess you sooner
The best they can
or
do is
later.
give us a refund for the remaining days, so we have to move to another resort 30 minutes away. It feels incredibly terrifying as a parent to know that there's someone very likely trying to abduct your child.
That's enough.
There's nothing anyone can do about it.
Let me cook that.
I hate knowing that the creepy parents might be out there right now trying to lure unsuspecting kids into their strange trap. Those people deserve to be locked up, and I hope that by sharing this experience, I can inform other parents about the real
get more
dangers
wood, man.
and hopefully help save their children.
I still want to finish that. It's not done yet.
What scares me the most is the possibility that the boy with them might be another child who's missing now. They're using him to lure other innocent children. We get into the elevator and head to our floor, but when the elevator doors open, Alan's new friend and his mother are standing there as if they've been waiting for the elevator to come down. As soon as we exit,
I'm gonna put on P for y'all because I don't know if I'm about to die over there or I'm gonna survive. So y'all call me a pussy
I glance at my
if y'all
wife,
want.
who looks just as confused and worried as I do.
I got 22 levels. I got this hard to get levels sometimes.
But maybe we can arrange something for
Everything
tomorrow.
good.
Her smile fades as she turns and walks down the corridor opposite ours. I assume to their room. I I know both my wife and I are thinking the same thing. That they're creepily waiting for us near the elevator all this time just to ask about dinner. When we get into our room, we pull Alan aside and firmly tell him not to approach that family without one of us with him. He looks a little
I'll
disappointed.
be back, y'all. Give me a second. Oh shit.
With how the vacation is going already. Having to feel tense for my kids' safety. But I reassure myself that tomorrow will be better.
My bad. What's up, second girl? How you doing?
We all
Like
get
and
ready for
subscribe.
bed and turn
My
off
bad,
the
sir. My
lights.
bad. We're just in the bathroom,
There are
sir.
2 beds in the room.
Put it on
One for
peaceful
my wife
because I don't
and me to
know
sleep in,
where
the other
where
for
they're
the
gonna
2
spawn
boys
me
to
at.
share.
So
Came
we
close
gotta
into
find
the
out.
night, turned awake. Startled because I thought I was awake
Like and
tense.
subscribe. The
I see
unknown.
Sam next to me still
Like and
shaking.
subscribe for more content,
You're okay,
more
buddy?
videos like this.
Sam answers quietly,
I'm waiting for my
whispering
homeboys
to
to
me
get
that
on.
Alan is talking to someone
Dude,
at the door.
I think they're working
I
right now.
immediately jump out of bed and turn towards the corner
Oh,
leading
what
to the
spawn
front
is
door.
this?
From the brief glimpse I
Oh,
get
guys,
before
spawn.
yelling at him, I can see he's trying to figure out a way to open the door, and I can hear faint voices on the other side. I run towards him, yelling
You know,
for
I
him to stay
forgot.
away from the door.
my gold. I'm gonna go get my gold right quick.
Startled by the volume of my voice, I slammed the door, hearing footsteps running in the hallway. As I finish opening the door, I know I should have just stayed inside and called for help, but I'm so angry. All I want is to confront the person, and as I'm in the hallway, I see a figure quickly. A man turning the corner to the hallway towards the elevator. I try to chase after him, but as I turn, there's no sign of him. He wouldn't have had time to get into the elevator, so I know he must be staying in a room on that floor. After searching for a few minutes, I run back to our room and meet my wife, who's already awake because of the situation. I ask her to lock the door as I'm going down to the front desk to report the incident. As I descend to the lobby, my adrenaline starts to subside. I try to calm myself down to be able to explain what happened. There's a young woman at the desk that I talk to, and I can sense that she's never faced a situation like this before. She calls a security guard to speak with me as well as their manager. After a few minutes of discussion,
20
it's quite clear
years
they can't do much
later.
about it.
20 years.
They don't have security cameras in the hallway, only at the entrance and exit.
Where my homeboys at, bro? My homeboys, bro.
Description of the man at the door or his relationship with the parents asking about dinner. Obviously, I assume it's the father of the other boy, but even though I'm pretty confident about the creepy parents' intentions, I can't really prove it. In short, the best they can do is give us a refund for the remaining days, so we have to move to another resort 30 minutes away. It feels incredibly terrifying as a parent to know that there's someone very likely trying to abduct your child, but there's nothing anyone can do about it. I hate knowing that the creepy parents might be out there right now trying to lure unsuspecting kids into their strange trap. Those people deserve to be locked up, and I hope that by sharing this experience, I can inform other parents about the real dangers and hopefully help save their children from those terrible people. What scares me the most is the possibility that the boy with them might be another child who's missing now. They're using him to lure other innocent children. I work as a security guard at a large hotel in Las Vegas in my late 20s. The pay is much better than almost any other job around, which matches my qualifications. But the most annoying part is the schedule and staffing. At that time, the building was struggling with a shortage of staff to cover shifts. So my schedule would be morning, afternoon, or night, all randomly throughout the week, making it very difficult to sleep sometimes. But again, I like the money. Anyway, I'm working the night shift tonight, and I'm at the front desk talking to two of my colleagues. It's around 11, and my shift ends at 12, so we're just hanging out in the middle of our conversation when the phone at the desk where I'm leaning rings. Checking the number, it's from one of the rooms in the hotel, so I pick it up and ask how I can help them. A man speaks, saying that something is happening in one of the rooms down the hallway, and that he's very worried about it. I ask what he means, and he panics, telling me to come up immediately because he's getting very anxious. I check the room number on the phone, then tell him that I'll send security up as soon as possible. Of course, although I'm only referring to myself when I put the phone down, I quickly explain the strange nature of the call to my colleagues, then head to the elevator and go to the middle floor where the room is located. Walking down the hallway, there's an eerie silence. I hope to hear anything the caller might say, but there's no loud sound coming from anywhere on the floor. I also somewhat hope the caller is standing near their door waiting for me or something, but the door is closed. I knock on the door loudly, announcing that it's hotel security. I don't hear any movement or sound coming out of the room at all, and after a minute with no answer, I walk to the end of the hallway, listening attentively for anything unusual, then go back to the door, knocking again a few moments later. Though the room behind me opens its door, and an elderly woman asks if I'm security, I say yes, and ask if they know anything about the strange noise, or the caller from that room, to which which they respond that they heard loud noises walking down the hallway a few minutes ago, but weren't sure what it was from their room, and their facial expressions looked very scared at this point. I've already started feeling very nervous, but the situation just keeps getting weirder. I grab my walkie-talkie and radio a message to the front desk asking them to call the room again and let me know if they answer. After what feels like forever waiting, they finally tell me that nobody answered. I stand there for a moment, trying to think about what to do before radioing back to them, telling them to check who's staying in that room. After what feels like forever, they finally tell me that nobody booked the room for the night, which confused me even more. I pull out my security key card and unlock the door because there shouldn't be anyone in there. The room looks clean and unused from what I can see. I search every corner and find nothing, but then I walk to the phone, flip it over, and get the serial number there. Then I go back down to the lobby where my desk is and check the security logs for the timestamp of the call that was made from that room. Turns out, there's an active call record that was made from this room to the front desk, which I answered about 15 minutes ago. Obviously, the hotel doesn't record calls or anything, so all I can confirm is that someone was in that vacant room without permission. This eventually became a bigger investigation in the days to come because the next morning, one of the guests staying in a room on the same floor was reported missing by family members staying in a separate room. Security footage from all entrances and exits was checked, and the missing person was last seen leaving the hotel alone a few hours before the call I received. It's still unclear if the two incidents are connected or not, but it was definitely a very strange situation. I don't know how the caller could access that phone or who they are, but personally, I believe their reason for calling seems to fit someone being forcibly abducted based on their brief description.
No, fuck, bro. I didn't mean to do
The person
that, bro.
behind that
I got
mysterious
sex
call was
anyway.
never identified, and to this day, the missing person still hasn't been found.
Rock, paper, scissors for who's on dinner duty?
Nice try.
I'll get it. Need some help? Easy weeknight dinners. Approved.
Looking for fitness that fits your budget? Join Planet Fitness now and save almost 25% off your monthly membership. In many areas of the American West, cutting firewood in national forests is a necessary chore if you want a warm house throughout the winter. Our home, in mountainous central Idaho, was no exception. It was normal for my dad to pick me and my brothers up after school and head into the mountains for an afternoon of firewood gathering. My dad would fell the trees, then saw them into chunks. My brothers and I had the task of rolling the wood to the truck and then loading it up. We would continue this assembly line process until we had the truckload of wood, usually before nightfall. Hot, sweaty, and exhausted, we'd pile into the truck cab and make our way back down the mountain. At home the next day, we would unload and split the wood and stack it into neat little rows. This process was repeated until we had a winter's worth of fuel for our home, our grandma's cabin as well, and then any extra for elderly neighbors. This particular afternoon, we decided to try a different logging road on the other side of the valley. This was well outside our family logging area. No real reason for the change, but my dad said that he wanted to change the scenery. This logging road hadn't been maintained in some time. Large rocks and fallen branches littered the path. My brothers and I had to walk out in front, pushing rock and wood out of the way, as my dad lurched the truck up the switchbacks. Yard by yard, we slowly made our way up the mountain. The hike itself was physically brutal. As we ascended the mountain and got further into the trees, this odd feeling feeling started to set in. I wasn't sure if it was the exhaustion from the hike or something more. But there was electricity in the air, like the whole mountain was buzzing at a wavelength just below my senses. In some odd way, it felt like the mountain knew we were there, and it wasn't welcome to that fact. I wanted to say something to my brothers, but before I opened up my mouth, my younger brother said,
A bastard? Damn.
"Does anyone else feel like we're not welcome here?" My older brother and I stopped in our tracks and looked back at him. Both of us nodded in agreement. This moment was broken by my dad honking and motioning us to continue clearing the path. Reluctantly, we pushed forward to a small clearing in the woods, where we finally stopped the truck. My dad, oblivious to our apprehension, or simply choosing to ignore it, grabbed his saw and went to work. As the wood was felled and loaded, I still couldn't shake that ominous feeling that was enveloping me like a dark shroud. I noticed my brothers were taking occasional glances over their shoulders as we worked. Everyone except my dad seemed on edge. The sun nestled down into the trees and twilight began to set in. As the light drained from the sky, my anxiety only intensified. It wasn't until my dad unexpectedly told us to load up that a wave of relief flooded over me. I could see the tension in my brothers melt away as well. The truck wasn't fully loaded though, an oddity. Getting half a load was a waste, according to my father. We would sometimes work into the dark just to make sure the truck was full. But for some reason tonight, he seemed eager to head home. With everything loaded, we started back down the road. Although dead tired, everyone seemed to be in a much lighter mood now. We were chatting and cracking jokes while trying to blow off steam from that afternoon. We were almost out of the tree line and into the valley desert.
Right there.
Going down the switchbacks, you want to be careful, especially with the load, even if it was half that. A brown blur jumped from the downslope side of the switchback. Shit,
Oh, yeah.
was the only word that came out of my dad's mouth as he slammed on the brakes. Loaded with wood and traveling downhill, there was no way to avoid smashing into the blur. The truck finally ground to a standstill. The four of us peered through the windshield. Nobody said a word. Illuminated in the yellow glow of our headlights was a crumpled up body of a deer. Grumbling and cursing the deer's existence, my dad exited the truck to investigate. Doing as they were told, my brother stayed put in the truck, but I didn't listen. I jumped out and followed close behind my dad. The truck was fine. We hadn't been traveling very fast when we smacked into the deer. Just some hair and blood in the grill guard. Hitting a deer really wasn't that unusual. The mountains were full of them. What was unusual was that the deer dropped off so quickly. At faster speeds, deer could still be upright and sprinting away to die into the woods after a collision like that. The last burst of an adrenaline dump. But this one fell over like a rag doll. Before even approaching the carcass, a deep foul smell hit us. Deer smell bad when they're alive, but this one was on a whole other level. It was the smell of decay and rot. My stomach began to turn as we got closer. My nostrils were burning. Coming up on the deer, it was clearly dead, like really, really dead. The stench was so overwhelming, my eyes were watering. The body was a true horror scene. The deer's eyes were gone, replaced with sunken hollow holes. As if to overcompensate for their absence, the tongue was swollen and black as coal. It could not be contained and hung out the side of its mouth. The underbelly was split open. Entrails and offal spilled into the dirt. In the dim headlights, it looked as though the deer's fur, viscera were moving, wiggling almost. Holding my breath, I bent down for a closer look. My heart stopped. The deer, inside and out, was covered in maggots. It was dead, all right. But our truck didn't kill it. Clearly, this deer had been dead for days, if not weeks.
I backed away retching. That electric anxiety came back screaming. My father was always the quiet stoic type. But right now, even in the dim headlights of the truck, I could see the abject horror written all over his face. My father's gaze was not on that deer, focused down the mountain. Poorly masking the fear in his voice, he told me to firmly walk back to the truck and get back inside. I obeyed without objection. I grabbed the door handle. A loud shriek came from the trees. Branches were shattering and breaking. Something was heading up the slope towards us now. I slammed the door closed just as my dad reached the truck. Before his door was shut, he had already pressed on the accelerator, and the truck launched forward, sending us over the deer carcass and racing down the hill. With mine and my brothers yelling, it was hard to tell if the shrieking was actually following us or not. Our truck popped out of the tree line and into the desert sagebrush. Once out of the woods, everything quieted down. We were left with the only rumble of the engine and the wind through the half-open windows. Pulling into our property, the truck came to a stop. We all sat in silence. No one moved to leave the truck. Then, everyone started talking all at once. We all had our own questions. What was that screaming? How does a dead deer jump uphill in front of a truck? There's no way the truck killed it. My dad shook his head and motioned us all to quiet down. That deer was dead when we hit it. It did not jump out in front of us. It was thrown at us. We all stared at him. He explained all that day up on the mountain that he'd felt uneasy too. But not wanting to worry us boys, he kept it to himself. He described it like walking into a stranger's living room while they were sleeping upstairs. That feeling never left him as twilight came and he happened to catch a shadow in the corner of his eye. Not too far into the woods, he saw figures moving from tree to tree. He couldn't focus on them long enough for a good look before they dodged behind other trees. His stomach dropped. Working hard to keep his composure, he hurried us to the truck to leave. It was after hitting that deer and discovering it was long dead that my dad pieced together what was actually happening. Something had thrown that deer to get us to stop. Before the shrieking began, he could hear something moving in the darkness beyond the road. It was a trap. Running back to the truck could have started an ambush or triggered a prey drive, so we walked back to the truck. The second we were inside, he drove that truck downhill with no intention of stopping for anyone or anything. That feeling of electricity didn't disappear until we hit the county highway. My brothers and I never saw anything as we drove away. But those screams from the forest will never ever leave my mind. We didn't gather firewood the rest of the season. For the first time in his life, my dad just bought what we needed. And although we started to gather wood again the next season, we have never been back up that particular mountain. The Forest Service has permanently closed and reclaimed that road. The only way back up into those woods is a very long hike. And I, for one, am not interested in never taking it again. Whatever was on that mountain, whatever threw that deer carcass, whatever chased us out of the woods, it didn't want us there. It wanted us gone. Or maybe worse, it wanted us dead.
I got a 4 so I'm out of here. I'm not gonna be greedy with what I got.
My friends and I decided to go camping one spring break. We planned a week in advance, and as the day got closer, the weather, well, it got worse. It was cold and gray, unheard of for Arkansas. The night finally came, along with yet another cold front. I was in my 30s. We dressed
What's up, new
warm and
follower?
stocked up on whiskey and some beers.
Dragon
The plan was to hit a
Child.
spot my buddy knew, which was barely accessible with his 4x4. We really wanted to camp, but none of those designated sites for families or seniors in RVs. single stoplight and a couple hundred people, and then drove into the woods. After 30 minutes of bone-rattling dips across dry creek beds and detours around other trees, it started to rain. By the time we found camp, it had turned into hail. The spot was marked by an ancient dirt road a few hundred feet long, and the rotting carcass of a VW bug. That night was spent passing around a bottle, hoping we figured out the tents before we were too drunk. Eventually, we did, and managed to start a fire with some diesel. At this point, the hail had stopped, and the empty whiskey bottle lay broken in the fire. We had a decent pile of empties growing and growing. We drank, played cards, and eventually passed out in our tents. The next morning, I gradually regained consciousness to the sound of something large being dragged past my tent. It was what looked to have once been a station wagon, stripped and rust-covered, dragging the VW with a chain. That VW had been there for so long that the floor had rotted out, and roots had tied itself to the forest floor. It lay scattered at the wake of the wagon. A woman was driving, and a man beside her, along with 3 shirtless kids that sat in the back where there used to be seats. The man stared out the window away from us the entire time. The children had dirt smeared on their faces, which illuminated their glassy 1,000-yard stares. It's the look of crushing poverty, and you've only seen it in pictures. It still exists in war-torn countries, the projects in inner cities, and the Deep South. So deep that the old gas station back in town, a place where you'd probably be humming the hum of the Deliverance theme. That was the city to these people. She spoke in a deep nicotine and whiskey-soaked drawl. Y'all come from the city to do some camping? Well, I reckon that's fine, long as you ain't gonna do no drugs. Y'all ain't doing no drugs, are you? We weren't. Just drinking in? Yeah, I drink now and again my darn self. That's fine, just fine. Wanna know how I know y'all was here? Seen them black helicopters flying around? Them some boys that work for me. See, this is my land, and they told me. Can't be too careful. Figured I'd best be checking on out. She began laughing, and Marcus bubbled up to wet her dry cackle. The man stared out at nothing. One of the children put both hands on the window and gazed through us. His mouth hung open, and spit cut a line through the filth that was on the glass. I'd say he was probably around 10 years old. Y'all know better? We didn't. Everyone knows old Beth. Y'all go to church? I lied. Good. Ain't got no time for those who don't fear God. Why don't you come on up to church tomorrow? Y'all can meet Bethany. It's just over that hill up there. Can't miss it. Boy, she'd sure be glad to meet y'all. They all would. We all assured her that we would be there, and she drove away slowly into the trees, dragging that VW. As soon as she left, we all took one look at each other and just started laughing. It was just nerves. There wasn't anything funny about it. We all have the remnants of a primitive warning system for danger. It's been eroded by living safe and civilized. But every once in a while, it goes off. And when it does, you obey it without question. Something is wrong. It started before she spoke. When I looked into her eyes, something is just wrong. The kids, that man, her laugh, something is wrong. Eventually, we did hike up that hill, and you could see for miles and miles. There's nothing. No buildings, no clearings, just forest. Ended up cutting the trip short.
I gotta kill that fucking.
Packed up and left before noon.
Get in here.
As a child and young teen, I lived in a very strange situation inside the woods. I'm not sure if this encounter may have been some kind of entity or perhaps something different. I hope someone can give me more information about what happened to myself and my friend that night.
You
I'm a
can't
female.
talk because you're gonna
I
need
was
more
around
ears.
12 years old at the time, and one of my best friends, let's call him Alex, must have been 10. Alex's father had purchased a large amount of forested land, around 100 kilometers away from the city that we lived in Canada. It was all forest when Alex's family acquired it. They cleared a little patch to build a house. The rest of it was pure, unadulterated forest. Their land was cut into two by a dirt road. If you followed it for several kilometers, it would lead to a few houses. And their land was very different, depending on which side of the dirt that you looked. On the right-hand side, where their house was, the forest was light and luminous, or at least it felt that way. It was not too dense, with little rolling hills, just a lovely place to
Jungle
stay.
Fish look nice.
On the left-hand side,
I didn't
though,
know that was Jungle
was
Fish.
another story. First, there was a deep ditch, perhaps 2 meters deep, which then became quite a high, steep hill. Weirdly enough, all along the road, all old and overgrown with moss, and over the steep hill, the forest just gave off this really weird and bad vibe. It had lots of very tall, dark coniferous trees, with almost black trunks. It was devoid of any light or life. Climbing the hill, which we were seldom willing to do because of the creeps it gave us, there was this kind of swamp thing. When we were there was this strange pressure that we sensed. It was almost like a kind of animal instinct that told us just to leave. The strange atmosphere was spontaneously obvious to both me and Alex. We playfully called that side of the road Demon's Forest. One weekend day, probably 2001 or 2002, my family and I came to visit Alex's family. Bored by the adults, my friend and I decided to go run and play in the forest. Alex's father told us to watch out. There was an animal that had been rummaging in their trash bin and caused other sort of nuisances. He said it looked like to be a dog or some type of Rottweiler, and surely it belonged to someone living up the dirt road. He warned us that we shouldn't interact with the dog if we saw it, as it didn't look healthy as far as he could tell, or something was just weird about it. He said it somehow looked diseased or contagious. It had patches of fur missing. So we set out on our walk. It was autumn, and the leaves were pretty and golden, many having already fallen to the ground. It was calm, slightly overcast, and a windless day. The air was very still and calm. Alex and I decided to walk along the dirt road, with the pleasant section of the forest to our right, and the Demon's Forest to our left. We chatted while following the road as it rose up a slope. As usual, we were slightly creeped out going up the road because of those weird vibes that I told you about on the left-hand side. But we were challenging ourselves to be brave this time and try to not really think about how unsettling it felt. A good distance away from their home, and it was already well out of sight, I noticed the first strange thing of that day. Out of the steep hill on the left-hand side of the road, there was a very large and dark pine tree hanging over the road. Somebody had attached a pink ribbon to one of the branches. The strange thing was, the ribbon was flailing strongly in the wind. Its loose ends were flapping almost horizontally. Remember I told you it was completely windless that day. There was no wind to even speak of. The ribbon was within my reach, so I even touched it as it was flailing. I even licked my finger and held it in the air to check if I could feel any other wind or air current whatsoever, as my dad's taught me. The air was perfectly still, yet the ribbon flailed. I mentioned to my friend. He seemed distracted and was younger than me, so he didn't really catch on to what I was saying, so I didn't really press the matter. We continued our climb. We reached a place on the hill on the left-hand side of the road, and it had a gentler slope and began further away from the road. In fact, it looked as if the hill was kind of caved out in a way that we could have made it easy to climb over to get inside the Demon's Forest. It almost seemed as if the hill was carved in a sloping half circle, like in a theater, and the road we stood on would have been the stage. It gave us a very clear, treeless view of the hillside, full of golden and red fallen leaves. The trees began at the top of the hill, maybe 9 meters higher. We stopped to admire the view. Canadian autumns are a sight to behold. Alex really got suddenly excited. He thought he heard something inside the demon woods up the hill. and really wanted me to pay attention. He explained that there were wild cats in the forest, that he'd spotted them with his dad, and one of them had reportedly had kittens. Kittens being one of the most exciting things in the world for kids our age, getting us all riled up. But somehow, my hackles were up. I couldn't really relax, even thinking about those adorable wild kittens. He actually thought he'd heard the cat meow in the forest, up the hill close by. I heard nothing of the sort. Thought he was just making it up. He suggested that we try meowing at it, to see if maybe it would respond. Maybe it would even bring its kittens along, and we could see them play with him. I hadn't heard any sounds at all, and didn't really like the idea of screaming meows into the creepy forest. What kind of wild cat would respond to children anyway? Wouldn't it be obvious that we're not cats by the sound of us? I don't know. It just sounded like a dumb idea to me. Before I could try to talk him out of it, he began loudly meowing into the forest. To my utter shock, the forest meowed back. Alex was delighted. He meowed again, and something in the forest answered him once again. I was shocked. This made no sense to me, but it definitely creeped me out. But I suspended my disbelief just to see what would happen. He kept meowing over and over. For every one of his meows, there was one coming back in response from the woods. It felt off to me. Feral or wild animals did not behave this way. Even at 12 years old, I knew that. It also wasn't some sort of echo. The quote-unquote cat did not bounce back any sound that we threw at it, except meows, which it reciprocated immediately. There were no rocky, hard surfaces around which sound could bounce off of either. Everything was covered in a soft layer of sound-dulling leaves. Alex began to get even more excited. Listen, the cat is coming towards us. She's coming to see us with her kittens. To my surprise, he was right. There was a rustle of dead leaves coming from above us, from above the slope inside that creepy forest. It seemed like the rustling was getting closer and closer. It was way off, because the cats are small and light, and careful with their steps. They don't make a ruckus when they're walking through the woods, but here,
What could do with the
the
cans?
rustling
Okay.
leaves sounded extremely obvious, along with meowing.
I got a
And in
can.
fact, it sounded more like steps, like someone with two legs walking in the leaves.
Decorations?
It was getting closer and closer. My alarm signals were starting to go off with the wrongness of it all, while my younger friend was completely oblivious. He was continuing to call it more and more. It was definitely coming towards us. Then I realized what seemed so wrong. The sound was coming towards us, but there was nothing to be seen. Right in front of us, we had the gently sloping hill, treeless and completely visible. Anything coming from the forest should be plainly exposed to our view. There's nothing there, though. No source for that rustling sound. Nothing moving. Listen, her kittens are joining her. Listen, there are more sounds. They're coming to play with us. He was right. The walking sounds seemed to have multiplied. It was now coming from various directions all at once, getting closer and closer, but nothing was still visible. This was way off. Wanted to leave, and Alex was getting mad at me for even saying so. Kept telling me the kittens are almost here. He wants to see them. He insisted over and over at this point. I was extremely tense, and my flight or fight was kicking in. We were alone and quite exposed on this theater stage to whatever was getting closer to us, which was more and more obvious with every moment. And it was definitely not kittens. I was on the verge to force him to run home, and then suddenly, I heard a very loud panting sound right at my feet. During the first millisecond, I got only mildly surprised. We had a husky at home. I was used to panting near my feet. But then, a sense of profound dread dawned on me as I realized, obviously my dog was not here. It has to be another dog, a very big one by the sound of it, and it has to be right at my feet. Panickingly, I looked down, ready to jump away from the dog that had somehow gotten extremely close to me, almost on top of me without me even noticing. Only, there's nothing at my feet. I still hear the loud, breathy panting sound coming from somewhere. I whirl around, all
I'm
360
making this
degrees,
text look nice, but
screaming.
not like this because I'm
Where is
just
this
one person.
coming
See
from?
my friends online.
There's nothing at my feet or anywhere around me. There's nothing there. Yet the sound is clearly here. As I whirl about in a frenzy, I look up the dirt road that we were following. Around 100 meters away, the top of the slope, I see a lone dog standing. It looks somewhat familiar to a Rottweiler, but in very, very bad shape. Extremely unkempt, with patches of fur missing, shaggy and dirty as heck, with some skin exposed where the fur is missing. It looks down at us too. Obviously, there's no way I could hear it panting at that distance, and the source of the sound is at my feet. It was at this point, the flight instinct wins. I have never run as desperately and as fast in my entire life as I did then. And thank goodness it was downhill. Alex kept pace right beside me, terrified as well. We made it home in one piece, and we didn't walk in those woods anymore. So the story that I'm about to tell you is kind of long. I'm going to try and condense it as much as I possibly can so it doesn't drag on and on. In the fall of 2019,
Yeah. I've been up before. I've been up before. Y'all busting y'all niggas. I don't want to hear it. Hey, and I got proof. How y'all been, bro? Hey, y'all saw the picture or no? That's exotic.
Somewhere off of the miles of the park roads, scattered throughout the forest. So the first couple of days went by amazingly. I love the smell of pines, especially in East Texas. And the campsite was beautiful. Not to mention the lake. We did some kayaking and hiking. And the views really helped my mindset. It was awesome. However, on the third morning, my friend got some sort of emergency call. He had to bail at the last second. I was slightly upset, but that didn't necessarily mean that I had to go home just because he did. So I just decided to stick to the original plan and find a place to camp deep within the forest. After he left, I headed to the nearest forest information center and snagged
Who mic is that? I'm going live.
The map showed the nearby highways of the forest. I scouted a couple of park roads and made my way towards them. After maybe 5 miles out of town, I find a park road, which is indicated by a numbered sign and is only a dirt road. I head down it and settle in for my adventure. The road wasn't very narrow, but it would have been a hassle to move 2 trucks around each other, which I didn't really encounter. I kept the map on my lap and followed the road with my fingers while also checking the road ahead for potholes. The woods got super dense around me, darker. It kind of felt like it was just enveloping my truck.
I was even getting Minecraft, bro.
Before I came across the first turn. It was clear. I was super deep in the woods now. I traveled to where one group of campsites was supposed to be.
That's a lot of money.
Which is a small
That's a house. That's a house payment.
I turned down, and to my surprise, I was met with a couple of trucks and RVs. All occupants outside cleaning guns or dressing deer. It was hunting season, so I guess that really wasn't a big surprise. But it was still very off-putting, especially with the looks that I was receiving. So I made the loop and just continued on.
Your mama got money like that.
I drove
Shit.
a couple of more miles and found another very remote spot at the very corner.
40 cast out, I think. That's a whole car right there,
Set
bro.
up the tent and a fire and brought out my whiskey.
That's too much money, bro.
I was burning some letters. Got a little more messed up than I planned to be.
That's like a house payment right there, guy. You know?
Fire, then headed back into my tent.
Fuck, bro.
It didn't take me long to fall asleep. I slept really hard. I woke up maybe around 1 a.m. to the sound of footsteps circling my campsite. I'm a pretty avid camper, so I just assumed it was a critter checking out the human and decided to chill in his pad without asking. I start to drift off again.
That's a lot of money, broski.
That's when I heard a low cough. Now I'm instantly awake. I just kind of
That's a lot of buckaroos.
And then the footsteps approached my truck. I had locked it, but then heard the
That's a that's a GCR right there, imported. You need like almost 50K. Like almost no. They're like almost 50K, like around there, because you gotta do ship fees where you want. Because when you get it, you're not gonna get it right away. You know, you might have to wait for 2 years. That's the whole process for that shit, bro. But like you get it for cheap though, for like under 50K, like around 48K, 49K probably. Just for the cars, how about that? You gotta think about shipping, because if they're gonna ship it overseas, you know. You gotta see who would, take it, who would deliver it. It's a lot. You good? No, you good. You good. Damn. Faggot, he called you little faggot. Hey, no, wait. Xavier said he went to your house yesterday, and he said he saw you sleepy slub. I told this nigga, why you need to throw a piece of cheese out your face when you're sleeping? And this nigga is like, like the opportunity. Bro. You catch this, you was lacking, bro. You was lacking. Right, Xavier? Why he was lacking? Lacking, sleeping. Damn, I'm expecting.
I'm not sure if I'm in the right place, but I've held this story to myself for the last 6 years because it sounds really crazy. I was told more than once not to talk about it. I went camping 6 years ago with a now ex-girlfriend of mine.
No, my ass passed out last night watching a movie.
We were able to drive in through some rough
Real
trails.
shit.
The site that we picked was next to some hiking trails that weren't very far from some natural hot springs.
Hey, it's better than nothing though. He's out, you know.
In the middle of nowhere. Absolutely no one was around.
If you don't do the stupid, you know.
Came back and had dinner. It was all very normal until we woke up that very next day. Now I need to give you some context as to how we slept that night, so you can understand my confusion. Before we went to sleep, I put our food.
Oh, I know. My foster home. Not foster home, but like. I know what you mean. Not foster home, but like I know what you mean. Damn, fucking drug addict.
With a gun right next to him. When we woke up the next morning, I felt
fucked up, bro. It's shit.
I slept a little hard.
Yeah, I don't know if the perky jerky's not worth it, you know.
When we got out, our campsite was
y'all niggas need to get on Minecraft, bro. I've been doing a lot with Ultra, niggas. Your brother helped out a lot, I'm gonna lie, with that big ass fence. Cosito. Nah, I don't pito.
Everything about those woods. My ex immediately accused me of not locking the car the night before, and some animal got into our stuff. I promised him that I'd locked it into the tent to grab the keys from my backpack, but they weren't there. Later on the ground right next to the car.
This nigga, I have not. No Diddy, bro. This nigga wild, bro. This nigga. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna lie. You know what sucks? Damn. Oh, I know who. Guess who? Neon. You know what's crazy now, bro? Like all bullshit. Neon. That nigga got banned on Kick for 1 day because he was in a car with Speed Ben or whatever. And that nigga, then he was on live. That nigga they got in a car accident, but that nigga dipped. Like, I like that shit though. I don't know, like that shit kind of, you know. But yeah. That's Cruz. No bullshit. I feel like that nigga. I crashed on purpose. No bullshit. Making his dashboard. I don't get it. Why he didn't stay in the back? To get in the back is more a little bit, more like. you will get like the front is fucking nutty. I don't gonna lie, I'll be kind of screaming too a little bit. Like I'm like, cause some part he was doing, he was bugging out. Like, in a Lambo truck, and a Urus, and a fucking Urus, bro. How the fuck you gonna cut up on a Urus? That's a big boy truck. Yes, bro. Like, top of that too. Like, yes, bro. Like, that shit. Like, I don't know how he did it with that because like, you think about New York traffic. Think about that shit, bro. Bro, like, and you try to go on a highway with that bitch and try to cut up, you nutty for that. Like, you got some cojones. No, his first car he ever crashed in was his Benz. That's why everybody called him Squeeze Benz, because his first car he crashed was a Benz, Mercedes Benz. Hey, that nigga took off. Oh, shit.
We spent most of the time in this area due to the difficulties, so we knew exactly what it looked like.
Shit.
Directly under the platform, and you can climb down either side of them. It's also worth noting
Would you go in a car with him or no?
much more like a cliff with an overhanging rock formation.
Hell yeah. That's how it is. Hell yeah.
It's not a creepy closed up cave. It's very open and very beautiful.
No, you saw that one video where he drifted around the cop. I like that shit. Like, he teasing the cops. Like, the cops don't do shit. Like, they did chase him for a while, but they can't keep up with him. I ain't gonna lie, they gotta get a scat pack. The cops, they catch that nigga down, or get undercover cop car, BMW. You know, they got the money and shit while they won't spend it. You know. Yeah, sure.
To tell him that it was time to go. We spent an hour or so catching baby salamanders, and I watched him have the time of his life.
Who's Floto? No, fuck that nigga. I don't even know if I got that. That nigga not even. I don't know. Let me see. No, he's not. No, his brother give me a fucking headache. His brother be in the background loud as a bitch. Oh, yesterday, nigga, I'm telling you, bro, been busy on Minecraft yesterday. Y'all niggas said y'all gonna get back on, never did. Yeah, I could tell, nigga. I could tell both of y'all did. Man, it also sound like a personal problem. You know, hey Xavier, no, not Xavier. Fucking, yo, you know what this nigga told me? You know what this nigga told me? This nigga told me he gonna take a shower and go eat, come back. This nigga never come back. What the fuck, bro? Like, nah, bro, cause like I was playing Minecraft. You know, I'm chilling. You know, I'm having a good, good day, whatever. I was having a great night because I had my new car. I was like, damn, this nigga. I'm gonna hold you up. Keep it back. Oh, him? The other dude? But like, I'm gonna lie, you gotta stop like a little bitch and just get used to it, man. Nigga, we all friends, you know. Not friends, but like we all chilling, you know, like. Like Cosito, like get straight, you know, Can't do that shit today. It's still the most fun I've ever seen him have. He still brings it up on the regular. It's a very positive experience overall for him. Yeah. For me, it was one of my worst experiences ever. Yes. I still feel sick. That you fucking dick eater. No bullshit. Cruz is a bitch. Word to my mother, he's a bitch, you know? You stupid nigga. I don't know, it's not, no. See? The fuck? Pew pew, pew pew. We prepared backpacks, grabbed some food, and drove out to the place. Oh, man. My friend knew the area very well, so we didn't take a map with us, nor did we have flashlights. We didn't plan on staying that late. Ask me, this nigga. Fa 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 fa.
We actually explored. We had lunch.
Yeah, cosito.
Trailed deeper into the woods. About half an hour. Here comes the we're a bunch of people. I'd say maybe 4 to 5. Normally just 2. They were just simply talking loudly. Wasn't some kind of satanic cult, or they weren't doing any dreadful chants or praying in a circle.
I came with this niggas, y'all. No, no, it's not. It's illegal
They saw us too.
because
Some
some
had no trees
what?
or rocks to cover the view.
Yeah, but if you don't got a gun license, you know.
Said, "Hey there, what's up?" No one answered back. Just continued to stare at us without saying a single word. This obviously launched a huge red flag to both of us. We stopped, and I looked to my mate. He looked back at me with a concerned look too. So we said again, "Hey." No one answered. I started to feel really uneasy. So we decided to just turn back.
I'm trying to organize you.
Not long after we turned around and started heading back towards our vehicle, we realized they were following us. I turned around and asked them, "Hey, did we do something wrong?" Again, no answer. They continued to follow us. We proceeded to walk faster and faster, trying to get off the trail as fast as we could. They followed the entire time. I'd say
Why?
staying about 15 meters away. Both started to panic. We looked to each other.
You gotta follow the leader.
As soon as we did, we started to run too.
No diddy.
Now we were freaking out. We did our best to put more distance between them and us. were
Man,
still
we got this
far
nigga over here.
We were in a very isolated area, deep within those woods. I felt completely helpless.
What? What?
I started to notice that they weren't behind
No.
us anymore.
Hey, yo, wait, pause. Yo, Xavier, you got a new cart?
As soon as I noticed this, we hid behind a thick bush and just tried to listen. Silence. No footsteps.
That shit glued on no bullshit. You know, Xavier remind me of the ugly ass fish.
We caught our breath.
What, bitch?
As possible all the way back. Jumped into
Oh, you fucking ugly. Hey, you know the movie Little Chicken Little? You know the little ugly ass aliens? You like them, bro.
another car behind us. It was them. They were following us again.
Like, see, you drew that joke yesterday, my nigga. What the fuck start dancing, nigga?
But they were basically interrogating us, riding our ass the entire time. That area is very
I forgot what I was gonna do.
There are absolutely zero cars except
You know,
and another one. That car had license plates. Drove back to my friend's town, avoiding to go back to his house, taking every country road we could think of.
You know what, nigga? This nigga sound like that, bro. Cruz just smoking some dick right now. See? Not.
About what had happened.
Damn, well then.
But no evidence came of it. So we heard back from them. We never saw them again. For days, we were super paranoid. One of our houses. This is why I took a break from hiking for about 4 years. I still have no idea
I need to.
what they
The
wanted.
gas mask is nut. The gas mask is really nutty. I ain't gonna lie.
This experience has given me PTSD.
Really like my.
Hope we never
Yeah, see.
see them again.
I feel like the gas mask is only when you get like out of surgery and shit, nigga. It's like that. Osito. Oh, we got lemons, my nigga.
A lot of people still
We got lemon on Minecraft. We got
I
lemon.
can assure you, myself and every other person involved also witnessed what occurred that strange night.
Yes, it is. It's a crackhead. No,
It actually completely changed our
no, hell no. But you don't know. But you don't know if it's air though. What happens if you just be air? You all looking stupid.
was.
Because you know how like cause the gas mask like you say okay that's cool. What happened if you meet somebody that got one, right? They got 2 cans, right? They show they show you 2 of it, one of them in air, one in the gas, and you pick the wrong one,
Some kind of
hotel stay.
You smoking air,
2.5
nigga.
hours passed when we pulled off the main
You
road
smoking air.
and headed down some off-road path. Asked her, "Is
Oh, what?
this a
You my
camping
dick,
trip?"
nigga.
She replied, "Yes." From being
Totally
honest, I was
smoking.
kinda disappointed. I really didn't
Breaking
like
news to you, I heard yesterday you was cause they put something up your ass.
I didn't go to because it was still a very nice romantic gesture.
No, it's
15 minutes on this rough road and we pulled into
awesome.
a campground. The first thing that I noticed was there was no one really else around
this,
us.
this nigga dick riding each other, damn.
It really was far off the beaten path. I was actually surprised her car made it out that far, considering how
What the
it was
fuck? Well, pause.
So anyway,
Pause.
make a fire pit and she cooks us dinner. Everything is going just fine. We were really feeling each other. Of course,
3 piece.
what happened next is exactly what you think would happen for two college-age kids.
I ain't gonna hold you, cuz
The first strange occurrence happened. I hear a scratching noise on the side.
y'all should get brawler. So all of us can pitch because all 3 of us versus other 3 people.
Maybe the wind is causing
Our line
the
and shit.
rustle against the tent.
Hey, I'm getting decent better, you know? But, you know?
The rustling stops and we continue chilling as if
Nah,
nothing had happened.
nah. I can hold down I can hold down myself, nigga.
It's like the wind just stopped.
Nigga, listen to me. I was playing 2 versus 2 whatever, and my teammate died, and then I whooped him ass.
Causing us to
You
kind of
know,
get
with
knocked out of our playful mood.
the
She
serio,
laid next to me.
puto.
Tried to concentrate on listening to see if it was a bear or some kind of animal in the area.
Kailan,
Then it happened.
you fucking
Something akin
totin,
to an
you fucking
explosion hit the
tota,
tent tremendously hard.
you fucking
I
tota.
compared to the sound if a log was thrown, like a battering ram against the side of the tent. I say
Shenane.
this because it literally pushed the material in. It felt dangerous. A surge of adrenaline went through my body as I felt like something fight or flight guy, but I guess my intuition gave me some idea. I yell aloud.
I can eat coconuts. They got coconuts on the game. On the
Scramble up and unzip the
That
tent
shit's
with
good.
tools in my hand. My first initial thought was that I was going to confront some kind of psycho who was messing with a sword with a baseball bat or some kind of weapon. To confront our attacker. A few breaths pass as a cold feeling sets in. Do a full 360-degree spin, and nothing but
Oh,
silence
fuck y'all
and
niggas.
darkness.
Slow toe is fuck slow toe. I'm better the version of slow toe, okay?
Nope. There was absolutely
Bro.
nothing on the ground
No
where that
Diddy.
thud and where that happened at.
That nigga, he's an AI, I think, bro.
No response.
Cause, bro, the shit, but no, all bullshit. After y'all nigga left the party, that nigga was acting normal.
Keys and get out of the tent.
But he was still acting a little bit, but he was still acting like, you know, like, yes. So like, I'm like, the fuck with this nigga, bro. And he said he be back. The nigga, I heard his mama yelling in the background and shit. And that nigga got off. So like, that's it, yeah.
You're probably thinking that I'm overreacting, but I truly cannot describe the terror that washed over
No
me.
Diddy, I was fucking his mama.
Investigating our tent. I could feel like something was
Xavier, not Xavier, fucking Cruz. You got a little vagina. Relax, okay?
immediately asking any type of questions. Both of my instincts were tight.
Ew.
The car was completely unknown. It felt like a football field away. We finally reached it. The keys
Hell no, that nigga nasty, bro. He like that shit. He was like, damn, mama. He's like, he said, damn, throw that.
as the engine started.
Nah, that nigga wild, bro.
Locked the doors and
He wild for just having that shit on the phone.
we sat there for maybe 3 seconds, just trying to rationalize.
I don't go lie to just like catfish a nigga, I would.
Exclaimed,
You know, like fucking around, you know, like.
my laptop is moving.
But this nigga like, what the fuck? You know, y'all niggas like you never cash fish somebody before.
We of course left it in a hurry as well as other items.
Sound like a
I saw what she saw.
dino duck, but the deformed one.
Around 30 yards
But the deformed one, not the new one, but you know, the ghetto version.
car and gear and started down that rough road.
Sound like it's the ghetto version of him.
Drive the car down that dirt path. Quickly, carefully. The strangest thing happened next.
Fucking dick eater, bro. I swear. See, Cruz loves dick, y'all.
It was like a ringing noise that rang from inside the car's cabin.
radio on and off.
Yeah.
I checked the windows.
Corsito. That's why he call him Corsito.
I asked her multiple times if she could hear me.
Hey, man, say that shit, Thorn. Hey, say that shit, fucking your bitch. She gonna look at you. What the fuck?
But I don't know what it is. They're confused and panicked.
Nah, what you think? Nah, forever she gonna look at you and say,
I'm describing some kind of
she gonna look at you say,
continuously ringing, just as we
she,
had.
she gonna say, look at you. She gonna look at you say, do it quicker.
Or I'd ever heard before. We endured that screech for 10
See,
minutes.
yeah, like repeat a nigga, yeah, no, like no, nigga, like the Corsito, like she told you to say that shit over and over, nigga.
The chills and that noise went away in an instant.
You gotta practice it, nigga.
5 minutes later, we stopped at a trucker diner.
This nigga, say it. What you wanna say? You fucking queer?
Or at least she did.
What?
I was still on edge from that adrenaline dump that I just went through.
What?
Attempted bravery or just stupidity? Back to the camping site. So I saw no tracks of anything or anyone. Contents of the tent were tossed around, but still all accounted for.
Boy.
They were all missing, so we
Boy.
as people swarmed with us. But that didn't seem
Yeah,
to be
the
the case.
Mexicans.
We packed everything up and we're done in less than
I can
10
make
minutes.
plates in
The area is
Minecraft,
still
you bitch nigga.
very weird. I haven't been camping since
Yeah,
then.
y'all wanna play your food?
Again, but next time we'll definitely be inside an RV.
I got quartz. I gotta make out of quartz. I got.
Location with
quartz.
others around. This all took place
I'm gonna hate break the news to you. You're a bitch.
far from civilization.
No, Bappy. Yeah, in the game, nigga, in Minecraft. Like, they got a Minecraft place. You know how the mod pack I have? That's why.
While backpacking
Oh, that's
in
cool.
northern Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's like an honor
I
for
just
him.
finished hiking up a very large hill and we're ready for some lunch.
Xavier, I mean, Cruz is a faggot.
After some
I mean, my bad. I thought you didn't hear me.
arrived, we come across who we initially think is another hiker.
No, Bappy, y'all niggas some bitches.
Carrying an old tool backpack, digging for crumbs out of the bottom of
Xavier, hold on, wait. Xavier might have one. Cruz got like, 20 of them, but he can keep one.
backpacking or just day hiking. Never
I feel like Xavier, if, like, no bullshit, I feel like Xavier meet that one girl, he gonna get her pregnant, he gonna shut her down, and fucking Cruz over here gonna be all fucked up. Hey, we're not talking about me. We're not talking about me, nigga. We're talking about you, nigga, not me, nigga. Talking about you, not me right now, nigga.
Packed up his bag and we asked what his trail name was. We could look out for him.
That's what we need. Now over here, we didn't hear.
Talking about. This just struck us as odd because anyone who hikes out here
Damn, that's fucked up, nigga. You ain't shit, nigga.
they usually have one they go by.
You ain't shit, nigga.
Explaining what he meant. He's like, oh, right, it's a hatchet. Which was obviously a load of crap because the guy was holding a pack.
No, if she got over 10, she gotta go. She got 10, she gotta go.
Reached our camping spot for the night. As we settled in,
I did already. Tell me.
hatchet rustling through my backpack. My friend and I
Oh,
were
yeah.
using hammocks. I had a backpack wrapped around the tree of my hammock, which was hanging.
Yes, I have. No, I have my no bullshit. Like before the girl I got with my baby mama right now, my main one.